Hi everyone. So yesterday we learnt what a fraction was, what we meant by equal parts, and what a numerator and denominator is. So a fraction is a whole that is split into equal parts. And just to remind you, the top number of a fraction is called the numerator, and the bottom number is called the denominator. The denominator tells us how many parts the whole has been split into, and the numerator tells us how many parts we've got. So today, I want us to be able to explain fractions in terms of division. So by the end of today's lesson, I want you to be able to demonstrate division, demonstrate finding a fraction of something, and explain how they are the same. So let's start by revising division. As you can see, I've got 8 counters up here. If I wanted to do 8 divided by 2, division simply means sharing 8 counters, 8 shared into 2 equal groups. Let's try. As you can see, I'm sharing my 8 counters into 2 equal groups. Here is one equal group, and here is another equal group. So 8 divided by 2, or 8 shared between 2 equal groups, is 4, because there are 4 in each group. So 8 divided by 2 equals 4. 8 shared between 2 equal groups is 4. So that's division. Division is sharing into equal groups. So here I've got 12 counters, and if I've got 12 and I want to divide by 4, I've got 12 and I'm sharing into 4 equal groups. So here I'm making my 4 columns so that I can put these 12 counters into 4 equal groups. So as you can see, I've got one group here, another one here, another one here, and another one here. So I've got 4 equal groups. So now it's time to see how many I've got in each group. And you can see I've got 1, 2, 3. 3 in each group. So we know that 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So what we're doing here is demonstrating division. So that was success criteria 1 at the beginning. We're demonstrating what division looks like. It's sharing a number into equal groups. Now let's look at what happens if we divide a number by another number and if we find a fraction of a number. So if we look over here, I've written the word division. I've got 4 counters, and I'm going to do 4 divided by 2. So I've got 4, and I'm going to share my 4 counters into 2 equal groups. How many counters have I got in each group? Here's one of my groups, and here's the second group. I've got 2. So the answer is 2. Now if I look at this side, my fraction side, I've also got 4 counters. But this time I'm going to find 1/2 of 4. So remember, our denominator tells us how many equal parts we're splitting the whole group into. I've got 4, so this is my whole. I need to split it into 2 equal parts. Here's one part, and here's another part. So if I have one of these equal parts, I've got 2. So 1/2 of 4 is 2. Here I've demonstrated division. I've demonstrated that division is when you've got an amount and you are sharing it between into a certain number of groups. I've also demonstrated fractions. I've demonstrated how to find 1/2 of a number. As you can see, I've got the same answer. This is because when we divide, we are sharing a number, splitting a number into equal groups. When we find fraction of something, we are splitting the number into equal parts. So when you find a fraction of a number, you are dividing the number by the denominator because you're sharing this number into 2 equal groups. So let's look at that again to see how we use division within fractions. So if we look over on this side, my division side, you can see that I've got 8 counters. So I'm going to do 8 divided by 4. This means I've got 8 and I'm going to share my 8 into 4 equal groups. So here are my 4 equal groups. There's one, there's the second one, there's the third, and there's the fourth. So to find out what 8 divided by 4 is, I need to look at how many is in each group. So you can see I've got 1, 2 in the first group, 2 in the second group, 2 in the third group, 2 in the fourth group. There is 2 in each group. So 8 divided by 4 equals 2. Okay, now let's look at the fractions side. For my fractions, I want to find 1/4 of 8. This is the same as division because I'm saying I want to split my whole, which is 8. That's my whole group, 8. I want to split that whole into 4 equal groups. So let's do that. I've split my whole, split the 8 into 4 equal groups. Here is each of my groups. So you can see I've split it into quarters. There's 1/4, there's the second quarter, there's the third quarter, and there's the fourth quarter. So if I'm finding 1/4, remember my numerator tells us how many of those groups we've got. So I've got 1. So I'm going to count how many I have in 1/4. 1, 2. So my answer is 2. So you can see that division and fractions are the same. We use division in fractions, and that's because the denominator tells us that we're splitting our whole into this many equal parts or equal groups. And when we are dividing, we're doing the same thing. We're sharing an amount, a quantity, into equal groups. Now it's your turn. It's time for you to show us what you've learned today. So if you look on your class pages or on the timetable, you will find some different challenges. So you can choose challenge 1, 2 or 3, dependent upon how easy you found today's tutorial. I want you to be able to show that you can demonstrate division, demonstrate fractions, and then at the end, tell us what you've noticed. Well done, dragonflies and butterflies. I can't wait to see how you get on.